Americans are now overwhelmingly in favor of left-wing ideas that they formerly were not in favor of. Actually, some of them they weren't in favor of, other ones they were in favor of. But specifically, let's look at the issue of UBI. So on March 2nd, UBI was supported by just 33% of Americans, and it was opposed by 48%. So it was significantly underwater. Significantly. Only 33% supported. March 17th, after this crisis had really taken hold and people are getting laid off left and right, and we got quite a disaster on our hands, look at that. Support 58%, oppose 26%. So now UBI is overwhelmingly popular. Now, you could argue that maybe the American people will only say in a time of crisis, UBI should be done. But my response to that is, okay, then we should definitely do it at least in a crisis. I personally would support, what is effectively a Social Security for all check. I would support that beyond just the confines of a crisis. But, now it's obvious that it's necessary, and people have flipped, and now they're totally in favor of it. Now, the next one is interesting. Do you support or oppose the idea of the government taking action to make COVID-19 treatments free? Among all voters, or all Americans, I should say, 68% support, only 17% oppose. And then even among conservative respondents, 55% support, only 27% oppose. So think about those numbers, because I think that's so telling. When we get hit upside the head with a national crisis, people have been saying this on Twitter, but everybody appears to be a democratic socialist in a crisis. It's never like people going, the government should really stay out of this and we'll take care of it. Everybody's reaction, no matter where they are on the political spectrum, is like, we got to do something, man. The government's got to step in. This has to be a top-down effort. We can't just, ragtag on a local level or whatever, try to piece together a thing because it doesn't make sense. It won't work. So everybody's like, the government has to do something. The fact that this outbreak has made it so that only 27% of Republicans oppose having free treatment, I agree with them. Now, just take it one step further, though. This is a pandemic. Everybody understands it. Everybody's, realizing how devastating a situation this is. But if somebody is going to get and we'll get to numbers later, but a bill from the hospital that's tens of thousands of dollars for this treatment, tens of thousands of dollars, and they can't afford it. What difference does it make to the person getting the bill if it was this outbreak, this health crisis that did this to him? If it was cancer? If it was a heart attack? If it was a stroke? If it was some other infectious disease? What's the difference to them if they're still getting a bill for tens of thousands of dollars and they can't afford it and they might go bankrupt? By the way, we have 500,000 medical bankruptcies every single year. I reckon that these conservatives, any of them that have had their own personal experience where they had a situation like that, if you ask them, they'll definitely be like, all of it should really be taken care of. Healthcare in general is something that should kind of be off the table and paid for. Because once you have personal experience with it, once you see how it ruined you and you don't think of yourself as like a leech on society or a parasite or lazy or whatever, people think of themselves like they're normal, everyday people and, they're doing what they can to do well in society. Once it affects you and you realize how unjust and irrational and dumb the system is, then people go, oh, yeah, this isn't right. But it's funny because a pandemic has that same reaction. It evokes that same reaction in people where they go, oh, well, obviously people had no control over this. And if you get this, what are you going to do? You should go bankrupt because you had bad luck and got this thing? Even conservatives are going, I don't know about that, man. That doesn't seem right. I agree, except just extend that mindset to other illnesses as well. And then you'll arrive at, where the rest of the developed world is. But we're there, though. We're there. And I've told you guys this before, but these left-wing ideas are usually popular, except UBI, with the exception of UBI. The left-wing ideas are usually popular even in not in times of crisis, but definitely in times of crisis, now it shoots through the roof. So there's a disconnect between the left-wing ideas and the fact that we have a lack of left-wing candidates getting elected. We got to do a better job as a movement, as an ideology, connecting the dots for people and letting them know that this isn't pie in the sky, this isn't out there, this isn't unicorns and fairy dust and rainbows. This is moderate, rest of the world type stuff. It's problem solving, and that's what we're here to do, and you agree with us, and you're going to vote for us. We need to connect those dots more. But either way, we're there. People now love UBI. They love universal health care, at least for treatments for this outbreak, although most polls show people support Medicare for all, even beyond just this. But the numbers for this one are overwhelming. So we're there. We just have to transfer this into votes to actually try to enact these policies.